This is the story of 4 Appalachian communities.
Brownsville, Pennsylvania.
Scott County, Tennessee.
Grundy, Virginia.
Coal River Valley, West Virginia.
And the people that are
Revitalizing downtown.
Growing community gardens.
Restoring watersheds.
developing trails.
Some have been there for generations.
Some of us for less than a year.
We face challenges.
But at the end of the day,
We are.
We are.
We are.
we are Appalachian Strong.
Appalachia, a region stretching 200,000 square miles across 13 states. It's home to stunning mountain ranges, a dizzying array of flora and fauna, and wild and scenic rivers. It is also home to over 25 million people who are the keepers of Appalachia's unique culture and history.
Years back, this was probably one of the richest counties in the state of Virginia concerning coal.
Well, in the heyday, Brownsville was the community that everybody came to. We had stores, could get anything you needed in Brownsville.
It used to be a boom town.
This is a coal community.
We had a big coal boom starting about that time, 1906, and people came from all over the world here to dig the coal.
Whether in the haunting notes of an ancient Appalachian ballad, the beauty of a quilt passed down from generation to generation, or the pleasant, pungent experience of a ramp feed, Appalachians are proud of their home and its culture.
It's almost like stepping back in time.
They cherish the history, that's for sure. You know, we know each other. You never see a stranger here.
You know, you get to know everybody. You get to make a lot of relationships with a lot of different people.
You know your next door neighbor. When I was in San Diego, you didn't know your next door neighbor. You didn't want to know your next door neighbor.
People here are the biggest volunteers you've ever seen in your life. We're in the volunteer state, but Scott County knows what it's like to volunteer.
The people here they're willing to help you all the time.
Fiercely proud people.
It is a very safe place to raise a family.
I've lived elsewhere, but the mountains draw you back. I mean, even if you move away, you want to come back home.
This is home and we really like it.
It's home. That's it. It's home.
Appalachia has always challenged residents to show their mettle just to survive. From the pioneer days of violent warfare with native peoples, to the dangerous work of coal miners and mill hands in the industrial era, life has often been hard for Appalachia's residents.
In the hills of this part of Tennessee, I mean, some of these places are really remote.
A lot of health issues here, unhealthy eating.
And also we have the highest unemployment in the state. It's also suffering from drug use.
The challenges are the economic depression, obviously, like in this area. It's apparent when you just walk around.
You know, 80% of our school kids are on free to reduce lunch.
The biggest challenge is with the coal market. When the coal's up, we're fine. When the coal's down, we're down.
We've had a lot of layoffs.
Poverty rate here is high. Our health is terrible. Worst in the United States.
And I tell my husband, I said, yeah, I can remember my mom and my neighbors. They would fuss because it was colder. And I said, now the coal companies is all shut down in Waco. That mines is no longer available. So there's not the coal dirt there. And I said, I've seen a day when they wish they were back open because of the jobs. You know, we need the jobs.
It is out of these challenges and the hope for a better future that we Appalachians developed our strong sense of community, family, and inner strength. It is this history and the challenges of the present that have caused us to look within our own community for solutions.
The community itself must work themselves out of poverty. We have had different agencies and organizations that have come here with their own plan and their own thoughts on how to help the people in the coal fields, and they've all failed.
I certainly think that there's just a tremendous need that we feel we're blessed to feel here.
And I think to start a nonprofit organization, it's going to take a sold-out, committed person to start it and see it through.
There's a need here. It's just, stepping up to the plate and trying to make it happen.
I'm 70 years old this year, and I'm still working. And the days are long because there's just so much here that needs to be done. If people would just invest in our people here and our children and get them ready. We want to break that poverty cycle so bad.
No, I think the answer to poverty is give the communities themselves the resources, and they'll work themselves out of poverty.
For the past decade, the Appalachian Coal Country team has been dedicated to helping communities in Appalachia find the resources to make their home a better place.
Hey, I'm April Trent. I'm the team director for the Appalachian Coal Country team. One of the things that the Appalachian Coal Country team accomplishes for communities is really through placing a VISTA in their organization. VISTA stands for Volunteers in Service to America. It's been around since the 60s, and it's basically a domestic Peace Corps. This team means a lot to me as a native Appalachian. I grew up in Appalachia. I wanted to run away from the places that our VISTAs are working in right now because I just didn't quite understand that uniqueness until I grew up. And now that I'm here and I have my own family, I'm very proud of that. And we place VISTAs in those communities where I lived and grew up. I understand the problems, and every community has a different need in terms of resources. So our first and foremost focus is build capacity for their community. And building capacity is defined by what that community needs. So if they need money, grants written for staff or for project development, that's what the VISTA will work on.
I'm Jessica Brown. I am from Spirit Lake, Iowa, and I'm currently serving as an AmeriCorps OSM VISTA with the town of Grundy in Virginia. Part of the VISTA program is that you get paid at poverty level, which sounds at first really, really daunting. But as a part of that, you learn to budget, and you learn that there are other people in this area going through the same thing, and a lot of times worse, because poverty is based on an average. I was sent here to work on community development and the development of a river walk. And it's turned into something that the community can rally around. So it's a huge community builder right now. And I think it will turn into a wellness trail. It will turn into economic development and so many more things for this little community. And so this experience is really just about me diving into the community of Appalachia and in Grundy. What I expected out of Appalachia was no opportunity. I expected to come into this town where all the kids cycled through the coal company or left. And Grundy has decided to invest in ways for people to stay here. I really think Appalachia is special in a lot of ways. And I guess the first one is the people. It's definitely a little bit of a slower pace of life here. So people are a little more relaxed, and they're much more likely to stop you and talk to you for like 20 minutes at a time, in the grocery store parking lot. These people have taken me in as their own. And I really didn't expect that. I expected to be treated like an outsider for most of my time here. The team experience has been so helpful. There's a support office, which is unique to this team, and to a VISTA going out into the real world for the first time and completely on your own 1,000 miles from home. A support office sounds like a really, really great thing. And the challenges that you face in Appalachia are so different from what I'm used to, but I know that there are other people going through the same thing, not only with Appalachia, but with the VISTA program. There are a lot of benefits you get personally and professionally, but one of the really great things you get to do is to wear Appalachia all the time. And so as a badge of honor, once you go through your first training, you get what they call fleeced, and it has our little logo here. And it's one of these, it's bright, it's very bright. But it's bright for a reason, because you stand out, and And putting on this fleece means that you're part of a team and you're part of our team and we claim you. There are over 250 alumni that still proudly wear this jacket.
My name is Jamie Brackman and I'm from Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania.
My name is Sarah Goots. I'm from outside of Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm serving in Brownsville, Pennsylvania.
I chose Appalachia because it was a place that I've always been vaguely aware of and interested in, but not really understanding that I was a part of it. I think that it's something that's just very close to home to me, and the more that I've experienced of it, the more I've grown to love it, I think. And it's definitely a unique place.
I grew up in the suburbs of Cleveland, in a town of about 36,000 people, upper middle class, not very diverse, kind of just your typical, Midwest suburb. And Brownsville is very unique. It's a town about 2,600.
The biggest difference between where I'm from and Brownsville, I guess, would just be the severity. We face a lot of the same issues on the other side of the state with abandoned buildings and that sort of thing, and the general decline in the population. But I think I see it more severely in Brownsville than I see it at home or anywhere else that I've been in the state.
BARC does a good job of kind of pulling Brownsville up by its bootstraps and giving them a reason to be proud of their community. Anytime there's a community event, BARC is there. We either have a booth, or we're hosting the event, or we're sponsoring a musical.
Working in community development and economic development here in Brownsville has really made me feel that sense of community that maybe has been missing for me. So that's probably been one of the biggest things that I got out of the experience.
This year of service is definitely for me an opportunity for growth. I've spent the last 4 years studying engineering and kind of been in that mindset of math and science and research, and I needed something where I felt like I could really just be immersed in a new, unusual community.
Specifically with the Appalachian Coal Country team, I really feel that you get to serve a unique population of people who are who need it, but who are also very hard workers and who are very grateful for the work that Vistas do. And in Appalachia, I think the need is probably greater than anywhere else.
Hi, I'm Sarah Cottingham. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I'm an Appalachian Coal Country Team AmeriCorps Vista with the Coal River Group. I was so engaged in my graduate research in Idaho with these little tiny mining towns that nobody else cared about, and that was my element. I absolutely love working in this field of community development in mining towns. That, what do you do to keep this little town from shriveling up? Or how do you diversify its economy, as well as protect the environment? Through all my research, the only thing I found that was remotely in the ballpark for what I wanted to do was Appalachian Coal Country Team. As the OSM Vista was a Coal River group, and the group's first full-time staff volunteer person in the office 5 days a week, I wear all of the hats with the organization. So I've been planning education events. I've held 2 water festivals for 150 kids from local elementary schools. I also won $40,000 for Madison Middle School, an area school on the Little Coal River. For environmental stewardship, I have been working on the Coal River's first watershed-based plan. So this plan will cover the failing sewer and septic systems on Browns Creek, which is one of our biggest tributaries and has one of the biggest fecal coliform contamination problems in the entire watershed.
In the southern coal fields, straight piping is still a big issue, and access to clean drinking water. People don't think about that in America, but it's still a big deal.
And the funniest story is the way we got started. I mean, we weren't, Bill Queen and I, who founded this organization, were not real, we certainly weren't, you couldn't call us environmentalists, and you certainly couldn't call us government-oriented, and you certainly couldn't call us even community organizers, because we were none of those. Because of our ability to communicate to the public and to the citizens who own a lot of that land, we found funding within the DEP, working together with them. We got EPA to approve this program so that we really could make a difference in the river. When you look back at it, the funny thing is, look at what we've done. I mean, we've become a huge environmentalist, we've become community organized, all the things we didn't think we were, we did. So Bill died, unfortunately, and left me with this mess to clean up here after that.
My name is Doyle McCarthy. I'm an AmeriCorps Vista. I'm from Seattle, Washington, and serve in Scott County, Tennessee.
I'm Nikki Lynn, and I'm from Hickory, North Carolina, and I'm serving in Scott County, Tennessee at the Boys and Girls Club of the Cumberland Plateau.
I chose to serve in Appalachia I thought it would be the largest adventure America could offer. It was, definitely different from where I grew up, and I wanted the biggest difference, to learn a part of America that I knew little about.
I think the reason I decided to serve in Appalachia was mainly because I didn't want to leave home. And when I say I didn't want to leave home, I definitely made a move. I made a move across the Appalachian Mountains, but I've grown up and lived in Appalachia all my life.
My dad was a Vista, and he was raised in Chicago and then served in Boise, Idaho. So he also kind of transplanted his whole life in a new place, and he said it was a great experience, so I followed his lead.
One of the reasons why I chose to become an OSM Vista was that kind of impact that it had made in my life early on when I was a child. I grew up kind of poor in a single parent home, and I wanted to be able to help others the same way others had helped me.
I started a gardening program at the school, which hopefully the children and the parents will stay involved in. The kids loved it. They had a great experience in the spring, especially.
My project really is a culmination of two different pieces that I hope intersect over the course of my tenure here, and it's parent involvement and healthy lifestyles through gardening with the kids at the club. And my goal in the long run is to get parents and children working together as a family unit to look at themselves and figure out how they can live a better, healthier life through growing their own food. And in this county in particular, it's really hard. About 36% of the people in this county live in poverty. The kids at the club, about 90.4% of them are on free and reduced lunches. More often than not, I have kids come up to me after a snack. They're like, "I'm still hungry. Can I have something else?" And it really breaks your heart. So you know that they're not getting enough healthy, nutritional things throughout the course of their day.
Hopefully it will instill in them at a very, very young age the importance of eating healthy and a little bit of that gardening knowledge. I think it's wonderful. It's really good.
I've been faced with a lot of challenges. I think people warn you when you're going to a new community that, they're going to look at you differently. They might resent you that you're coming to a distressed county and you're there to help, and they were honest about that when I came here, that, gosh, you're from the other side of the country and from a city, and you're here to help us poor mountain folk. But I think living life as a Vista kind of shows the best side of you, that you're willing to move your whole life and not take very much with you. You live in poverty. And I think that helps show your community, show the people you work with that you're not there to, for some selfish reason.
The Coal Country team has been around since 2002, and we've had 250 Vistas go through this program, and 90 of them have stayed here in Appalachia. They've generated $8.5 million in grants. They've logged 520,000 hours of volunteer service. There's a lot of talent here and a lot of work that still needs to be done. And so we want to find the people that want to use their talents to help get that work accomplished. We have a story to tell, and this is our chance to tell the world who we are and what we do. This is our story. These are our communities. We are Appalachian, but most of all, we are Appalachian Strong.
And I'm dreaming of my home far away. And when I go back, I'm going back to stay.
This season on Appalachian Strong, our 6 newcomers adjust to life in their new communities and struggle to meet the challenges that push them further outside of their comfort zones. Watch as Sarah in Brownsville encounters a last-minute curveball that forces a race against the clock. And the town of Grundy suffers the loss of one of their own. Witness what life is like in coal country for team members trying to make a difference in their newfound home.
You know, a lot of people think they might not be moving forward. Everybody's moving forward, one heartbeat at a time. You're one heartbeat closer to wherever it is you're going. Like it or not, good or bad, you're moving forward.